Okay, everybody, I'm Corey Mack. I'm the CEO and head of design here at LaForge Optical. Getting started about 5 minutes late here. It's our first time doing this. So basically, what I've done here is I just set up my iPhone. So I apologize about the quality. It's going to be whatever it is. And I'm going to be here to talk today about how the company got started, as well as answer any questions that you all may have. So again, just put them right there on Facebook, and I will be looking to answer them. So basically, LaForge Optical got started as basically a series of failures. So, and what I mean by that is this company came out of another college research project that I was doing back in 2011 that had nothing to do with augmented reality, had nothing to do with eyewear or anything like that. So basically, what ended up happening was we were working on a sort of form of disaster relief housing that we later turned into a smart home. And one of our team members, I don't remember if it was me or if it was someone else, had said, wouldn't it be cool if you could sort of control a house with something you wear? And around that time, it was about 2012, and Pebble Watch had existed, and we were looking at doing something that was different from that. And so we looked at like a pendant, and then we looked at something you would wear on your face. And that's how we basically came up with LaForge Optical. Is we basically said, okay, let's do something that you can wear. The project initially started out with us looking at, let me see here, these things called lens blanks. And so what a lens blank is every bit of eyewear that you wear starts out literally this thick. The lenses are this thick, and then they polish your prescription into the back of them. So what we do at LaForge is we've come up with a new lens technology where we basically put a mini projection system into it. So we first started out by literally, I don't think you can see it that well, but basically there's a little system in this one, a little pipe that we put in this one. And then we discovered that there were a lot of problems with this. So basically, you'd get this really crazy psychedelic or prismatic effect going on. Then what we figured out how to do was basically make it fully integrated in something that's casted into a product. So this is where the bulk of our time, the bulk of our research and development dollars has gone into. And the reason why is, if you can make this thing, and by the way we can, if you can make this, we can take any place that makes glasses, give them our electronic frame, and they're suddenly making augmented reality eyewear, which is what we call digital eyewear, which is different from augmented reality glasses, but we'll get into that sort of stuff later. So that's where the bulk of it went to. In terms of things like the electronics, because a lot of people are interested in the electronics and how those things work. Basically, our very first prototype is this big, janky, ugly guy here. And we created this. It was me, Steven, Brian, and Andrew. All of us guys went to RIT in Rochester, New York, and we met during First Robotics, and I sort of grabbed them aside and said, hey, I got a really cool thing I'd like you guys to work on. So what we did is we went to Walgreens and we got a pair of sunglasses. I found a website online that sells these little prism things, so that's what this thick thing is here. And we went to Spark Fun, bought a whole bunch of different shields and electronics, batteries, whatever. And we did that one weekend, and then 2 weekends later we assembled this. So what this thing is able to do is sync to any smartphone, or in this case an Android phone. And when you post something to Twitter, you can actually see it floating out in front of you. In this case, only 1 foot in front of you, so it was really hard to focus on. And we also were able to get a clip from Finding Nemo to be floating out in front of you as well. So that's where we started. So this was literally a couple guys in my living room back in Rochester before I moved out to the West Coast working on this. This is like literally like $300 and maybe, I don't know, 40 hours of work, something like that. What we then did after we got funded, and it was very, very difficult for this company to get funded. For those of you guys who who are interested in basically starting a company, I want to let you guys know it's very difficult and things aren't as straightforward as you would think. You would think, oh, hey, I have something that works, and then people will be so amazed by you that they'll give you money to do it. It doesn't work that way. When things first get started, you have to have a lot of proof. And if you're someone like me who basically this is my first real startup of other people's money. I've done smaller startup ideas and some other lifestyle business before. No one knows who you are. There's no track record of how you are with money, how you are with time. And what investors hate the most is basically losing money for silly reasons. Additionally, even though there is a lot of money out there, it's basically at the top. So it's easier, for instance, to raise $1 million than it is to raise $200,000. And case in point, we raised $200,000, and it took us, to get the first $100,000 in, it took us 18 months of talking to people. But then to get in the basically next $1 million, it really only took about 6 months. And we're looking to do about another 3.5 for the Series A, and we're thinking that this will probably take 3 to 4 months. And it's because we're getting more and more work done. People have things they can understand. So it's not as simple as going in there, proving something really simple, and people, fall over you with money. Anyway, so from that, once we got funding, so this is pre-funded, and then once we got funding, we worked with a company in Cambridge, UK, not Cambridge, Massachusetts, called TTP, the Technology Partnership. And with them, we took a pair of Tag Heuer frames, which is what these are. We took a basically Vuzix's heads-up display, and we basically gutted it, and we mounted it to our optics. So if you take a really close look here, we have this sort of pipe with the optics in, which was analogous to this thing here. Basically, this was able to show people that we can make a display that's 2 millimeters and very, very close to your eye, and yet have the same sort of fidelity or user experience as your iPhone or your Android phone. So even though it's 2 millimeters, your eye perceives it as being basically about 4 inches tall, but like maybe a foot or so in front of you. Again, this is something that is confusing to a lot of people, but it's one of the things that, because of how we've engineered it, it basically works that way. So I guess I'll get into something which is, let me see here, we got a couple questions. When will these be available? So basically, what we're doing first is we're releasing an alpha pair of glasses. So these will not have all of the features that you necessarily want, but the purpose of these alpha units is basically for us to get feedback. So really, to answer the question, the alphas will be releasing towards the end of the year, and then we're going to take some feedback from those and then produce a beta at some point in 2017. We don't release the beta until we make the alpha, because the alpha tells us what we need to fix to put into the beta. I know a lot of people are like, can I just get the beta now? And it's kind of like you're missing the point. If you guys are into Tesla or watch Tesla, you have to make the Tesla Roadster first in order to make that Tesla Model S, and then before you do after the Model S, you could do something a little bit cheaper. So it'll be available towards the end of the year with limited features. There will be constant updates running over the air. It's a really, really good deal. So you're actually getting 2 pairs of eyewear for the price of 1. We do let you change your prescription. Again, there's no gimmicks at play here. We're not trying to lock you into anything. So if you buy that, if you pre-order that alpha, you get the beta bold for free. So the alpha and the beta are very similar. It's just the beta has more features, and then the beta bold has a second display and a camera that's been built into it. It says here, will you be touring different cities to advertise them? We will be doing that. That was something that we wanted to start early next year, but due to, let's just say, some pressure or guidance from our investors, they want us to really delay until we really have a good understanding of the alpha itself and how it works. But trust me, we're trying to get these things out and put them in as many people's hands as possible, mostly because it cuts down on the emails that we receive with people asking, is this real and how does it work, and all those sorts of questions. But the idea is definitely to do a multi-city tour. We know that seeing is believing, and then also with eyewear, putting it on your face is very important. So these frames aren't very big, but then some of you guys might say, man, you have a really big head also. So it's just like people want to try them on just to see which frame styles work with them, and we're definitely going to let that happen here. Let me see here. This one from Karina. So let's see here. What are your thoughts on games like Pokemon Go? And just as I said that, someone put in another question. Here we go. Give me just a second, guys. Now it's gone. Basically, what she was asking is, what are my thoughts on Pokemon Go? Will it basically make something like this easier for people to digest? And I definitely think it will. I think Pokemon Go is doing a lot for augmented reality because people are getting a better understanding of literally it means whatever you see, reality, with other cool stuff or relevant stuff on top of it. And I really think that Pokemon Go is going to do much more for augmented reality than let's say what Google Glass did, because a phone is familiar to you, but that thing that Google Glass created, this guy right here, not the most visually appealing thing that one would wear because of this thing. It's very, very obvious, basically the opposite of what we're doing here. Let me see here again. If I forget, oh good, Brandon. Okay, perfect question from Brandon. How do we squeeze all of the essential components into this eyewear? It's very simple. Okay, so the first one is, as I said before, for guys who are just coming in, this here is what normal lenses, how normal lenses start out. So with this big hockey puck piece of plastic that they then thin out by polishing your prescription to the back of it, and then they basically route or edge this out so it can go into your frame. So they all start out like this. So what we've done is we've put a little projection system into a lens. So let me see if I can, sorry about this, I should have put these glasses closer to me instead of way back there on the table. But basically, we put a projection system into it. So here's one of our early, uglier lens blank prototypes that didn't really work out that well from a quality standpoint. But if we take a closer look at these here, these are the infinite loop styles. You can see that right here is basically the mirror. So what we've done, because again, people think the display is actually in the lens. That's not what we're doing at all. What we have in here is we have a curved mirror that looks at a display. The display is inside the end piece, which is why there's this big, let me put my hand behind it, which is why there's this big sort of notch in the corner, okay? Now we've minimized that, and that'll be minimized a bit more in alpha, but that's where that is. So that's one piece of it, is the optics are in the lens, not the electronics. The electronics are in the frame. So when I say the electronics are in the frame, well, on one side we have the battery. So this is our battery, 300 milliamp hours, custom made only for LaForge Optical, and as you can see, wow, that fits right in there. So we get 18 hours of battery life because we use the cell phone's battery for most of the processing, so you have to use our app. Now, when it comes to the other part, okay, well, you can power it, but what about your circuit board? This little guy right here, this guy is our circuit board. It's about 11 or 12 layers, I forget, but the point gets across. It's a pretty complex circuit board. And this has all of the little components that go in there, and guess what? Oh, wow, that also fits right in here. So this is the same size as a piece of Orbit gum. So if you want to know how big it is, buy a piece of Orbit gum. It's the same thickness. It's the same, actually like about a millimeter thinner, but about the same thickness, about the same, the exact same sort of dimensions this way and that way. And then finally, with the display part, how do we get the display to be so tiny and crisp? Is we don't make it, first of all. A company in Massachusetts called Copen makes it. So again, I'll put my hand behind it for the sake of contrast. This is our display. So this has about the same number of pixels as the original iPhone did. And then guess what? If we put this guy, hold on a second, right here, you can see that it also fits in there. So that's how we get everything to fit in there. If I'm coming off as condescending with my tone, I apologize. I don't mean it that way. I just am trying to simplify it for everyone. Will the glasses have a warranty? So basically, yes. If you go to, we just posted it last week, but if you go to LaForgeOptical.com and you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll see our refund and returns policy. And the sort of warranty is more or less implied. But anyone who orders an alpha or beta, you can return it for any reason that basically deals with its sort of function. So if something breaks, we will take care of it. You just have to cover the shipping back to us in California, even though the glasses ship from somewhere in Asia, actually a couple places in Asia. So you have nothing to worry about there. We're going to be here to support you guys. We want to know where are the shortcomings. So with the limited audience that we're going to have this to, and about a couple thousand people are going to be eligible for this, we really want you guys to find the problems. But to be clear, if you sit on it, run over it with your car, your lawnmower, we're not going to replace them. In that case, that's just on you. Let me see here. There was another question. When is the deadline for ordering alpha and beta? So right now, the deal that we're running is anyone who pre-orders the alpha, and again, the alpha is shipped towards the end of the year. I don't know how everyone is missing this. It is literally on several pages on Facebook and on our website. But you get the beta bold for free. So it doesn't mean you get the alpha or the beta bold. It means you get our first attempt at putting this into production, again, better than anything else out there on the market right now in terms of style. The functionality will be limited. And then the beta bold, which is the one that a lot of people really, really want, is the one with 2 displays, one per eye, not for 3D, but just twice as much information and a built-in camera. That will be coming out in 2017. So there's no real limits on that. I mean, there's no deadline that's based on a date. It's just when we run out of the first batch that we're going to make, it's over with, and then we'll let people order the pre-order the beta and beta bold only, noting that the price for the basically what I'm trying to say here is you really want to pre-order the alpha if you're someone that's really cost conscious. Let's just put it that way, because the beta bold will be a bit more expensive here. Will the memory storage be removable or cloud-based? It is actually not going to be removable. It will be, some stuff will be stored on your phone in terms of, but you can set that up. Some stuff will be stored on your phone, so you can, in the settings, say, okay, any picture I take with the beta bold will be stored on there. There will also be some storage available on the camera, on our eyewear as well. So part of this board here for the alphas, we got 1 gig of storage, and then we're going to push that up to about 8 gigs in beta. Everything else will be stored online. So if you lose your phone, break your glasses, no big deal. Just get another pair, and you don't actually have to reconfigure everything else. Let's see here. One from, Brandon Brost. Big question, not seen any mention of. Will you offer an option to have the yellow or amber lenses for computer screen usage? I would say more likely than not. But there's but we haven't really decided on how we're going to do that. So we will start offering different tints starting at beta. Most people really want sunglasses, but there are 2 tints, and I really need to take a little bit closer look at them to figure out which one I really want to do. So what he's talking about is people use computers a lot. You can get basically get lenses that are tinted yellow, so it reduces your eye strain and things like that. And then there's also a different one for people that use, who are concerned about blue light that comes from your display, or that's just ambient. Like if you look at the sky or bright day, you're going to get a lot of blue light damage to your eyes. So, which by the way, studies show, particularly if you have multicolored, not multicolored eyes. If your eyes are a color that aren't brown, you're highly susceptible to getting long damage over 20, 30 years if you go outside a lot, if you don't basically have blue light protection. So that one is actually a blue lens coating. But to answer your question, more likely than not, I'm not sure if we're going to do blue or yellow, blue and yellow, so we have to just figure that out. One of the other, so here we go. Another one I get asked a lot. Here's one from Lee, who hits me up a lot on Facebook. Lee, nothing wrong with that, by the way. Anybody, just let you know, you can contact me by email. I'd like to make it pretty easy for everyone. But Lee is asking, will the glasses have voice command? And this is another one of those yes and no sort of situations. Will it have voice command from us? No, it will not. Are we working on ways to integrate Google Now and Siri? Absolutely, particularly since Apple is loosening up the reins on Siri. we really do want to have it, but it's not going to be anything, we really are going to be discouraging people from doing voice commands that are a little silly, like, like with this guy, okay glass, take a picture. That, as we've seen in the past, can cause a lot of problems, but I do think it would be really cool if you're like watching TV and instead of like using your remote to change the channel, you can just sort of go, okay, Siri, could you please play Sons of Anarchy or something like that. That would be a really cool application. Let's see here. What about the possibility of, actually let me go back to James here, sorry. When will the other frames designs be available? So the other ones will be available at beta. We do not know when the beta is going to release because it is after the alpha. We need to get feedback from the alpha. So it's not I don't know and I don't care. It's just, it's part of our process of getting in a lot of information to ensure that we're not making the wrong thing or spending time on things people don't care about. But we will be extending the line to 16 frame styles. At least 4 of them will be really cool looking sunglasses, by the way, because people really want them. The person asked about transitions, which thank you, Matthew, for pointing out that that is also in the frequently asked questions section, but we will not be offering transitions until we are impressed with a lens coating that changes color very, very quickly. I think it's interesting that when you go outside with transitions that eventually they change color, but when you come back inside, you're the guy that's wearing sunglasses inside for at least a couple minutes. So we're really looking for technology that's a little bit faster. And I'm also a huge fan of putting new technology in, transitions and all the other stuff. It's based in stuff in like the 1980s technology. Nothing wrong with 1980s technology, early 90s technology. It's really cool for then, but I really want to do something that's more electrochromic, which means you go outside and it knows it's very bright and then it automatically tints. You come inside, it automatically loses that. So that's what we're looking for here. Let's see, when will custom developing be available for glasses? Can I get a starter pair? So we're going to start custom development officially in beta. However, we will be doing some very simple tests in alpha. So beta is right now scheduled to be sometime in 2017, but if you're a follower of LaForge, you know how we are with timelines and letting things slip by a few weeks sometimes. But the idea is 2017 is when late 2017 is when I would expect for people to do that. We're going to have a really cool developers portal where you can essentially go online and basically write a couple sentences about what it is you're doing, upload a couple screenshots, and we'll just accept it or deny it based on that. A lot of people want to do some things that I think are really boring and not that good, like, oh, I'd like to see a Word document, or I'd like to see a web page. This is not the platform for that. If you want to look at documents, look at something like Microsoft HoloLens. I know it's crazy expensive, or look at something like the Avigant Glyph. So there's that. So Larry, and again, if I'm skipping these, I apologize. Let's see here. Larry is asking, do you have to wear these on a daily basis? The idea is this is a replacement for your typical eyewear. They have 18 hours of battery life under normal usage. By the way, guys, I apologize about the noise. They're doing some landscaping outside, so perfect timing for that one. But basically, you wear these as if you would wear normal glasses because you can get them in your prescription. You can we adjust them for your eye distance. That's part of your prescription as well, and you're able to and you're able to get them in multiple styles. So that's pretty cool. Definitely, Zach, what you're talking about with the star maps overlay, that is something that I think is absolutely awesome and something that we're going to do. So let's see here, Alex. So for those who pre-ordered from the 4 frames available, we'll be able to choose from the 16 frame styles yet to be released. Yes, you will, and it's not 16, it's 20. So it's 4 plus 16. So yeah, we don't have any qualms. You're not locked into this individual one, the one that you picked from the first 4. And also noting that we will be facelifting these because the #1 bit of feedback, and we knew this was going to happen, but it was just a design constraint at that time, is the temples on all of the eyewear. This one here, the Mr. DJs I'm wearing, the infinite loops here, they all come across at the center. And we know that a lot of eyewear doesn't do that. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving in beta. Majority of the eyewear will have the temples up at the top because it just looks better. Let me see here. What is it like to wear these glasses when the battery dies? Is a 2mm mirror distracting or noticeable? Is it distracting? No. Is it noticeable? Yes. It's noticeable like a smudge on your glasses is noticeable. It's not noticeable like, for instance, this big black cap here. Well, that's not really big, but this little black cap here is noticeable. So it's not in the way. Again, this display is not directly in front of your eye. It frames your field of vision so that it's not in the way. So it's not in the middle, and it's also not way out in the periphery like it was with these guys. Let's see here. What if you have a prescription for reading or using computers? And the other one or no one for going outside for typical use, which would be better, preferred for LaForge? What we would say is this. First of all, I would say, what is this? Max. It's a very good question, and for readers, we don't really look at this as something that competes with readers. So we would say if you wear readers, and you want to use it in front of a computer, use your readers. But we do say for people who wear bifocals right now, we're going to do bifocals in the future, by the way, use your distance vision, and then for reading, put on a pair of reading glasses. But Max, good question, and the long-term solution is we're going to be making a pair of bifocals for something like that. Let's see here. Actually, sorry, that wasn't, oh no, sorry, I answered that one too. So Luke, are you supporting open integration for qualified third-party startups? Absolutely. We do not want to create all of the apps or widgets that are running on our platform. What we are doing is we are an example. We're basically showing best cases and being an example to the basically industry and to a greater set of third-party developers of what is possible and what we'd like to see. However, we're opening it up. So again, it's not open source, but we're opening it up for you guys to express your creativity because we don't think we have all of the ideas. And of course, we're not as arrogant enough to say that we have the best ideas. So that's about it there. Let me see here. Is there anything else here? So I think those are most of the questions that I've gotten through so far. So we got about, I'll do this for about another 20 minutes here. Let me just get a quick drink of water because that was a lot of talking. So anyway, before I got into dealing with that wall of questions there, basically what we did after we made this one with the folks in Cambridge at the Technology Partnership is we then started focusing on, which I kind of got to this in a lot of the questions, how you integrate all this stuff. So this is where we are. This is one of our looks like prototypes. So in terms of aesthetically speaking, this is about 90% accurate. We're actually, if you look here at the thickness here, this is a little bit thinner than a pair of like acetate frames. If you wear Warby Parkers, that's an acetate frame. We're actually going to make this even thinner. So the goal is to get in as many areas as possible the thickness of the frame down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 3 millimeters. But on the temples, those will be basically about 5 to 6 millimeters thick, because we do have the limitation of these glasses do more than just sit there and make your face look good. Or I'm assuming your face looks good, of course. I didn't mean it like that. But basically, it's something that basically complements you and your look. So that's really it on that part. I don't, and that went by really quickly in terms of those questions here. So I guess the next thing I can go into a little bit more detail on is sort of what are our plans for the future, and the sort of where are we going next. So what we're doing with Shima is we are testing out manufacturing methods for the lenses I was talking about beforehand, as well as making a software platform and an API. Our long-term goal is to get into licensing partnerships with some brands such as Gucci, Versace, Tom Ford, Oliver Peoples, things like that, and work with them to make their eyewear with our additional features into it. Actually, from a design standpoint, these frames are quite sophisticated. The lenses are simple and ridiculously hard to make, but the frames are easy to make, but there's a lot of details. So to put this into perspective, Most eyewear cost $25 to make. It doesn't matter whose name is on it. If it says Nike, if it says Gucci, if it says nothing, they're between $5 and $25 to make, and they charge you a lot of money for it. I don't think that that's the way things should be. So I made something that was basically twice, 2 to 3 times more expensive than a normal pair of glasses, and we're basically selling it at that same price. So you're not going to see these up a bit. You're not going to see these be super expensive forever, because we do understand $600 is not cheap, but in terms of eyewear, it's also not terribly expensive either, particularly if you're older and wear bifocals or something like that. The lenses alone on bifocals can be between $400 and $600. You can find a couple places for $200, but glasses are ridiculously overpriced. I'm just trying to combat that. Anyway, going back to the point here is we're basically, in order for us to get those partnerships, these companies are going to really need to see something compelling. We can't go into there with what we had when we first started and expect anything to happen. People don't get it. It's a lot of risk. They really want to see tens of thousands of these being made so they can get a good feel for quality, because the last thing you want to do is that Gucci, or what, I'm just picking, I'm not saying we're working on them, but Gucci or Armani would want is stories or headlines about their eyewear not being of quality or having some problem that they can't handle because they're a holdings company of a name and not a creative technology company like us. So let's see here, sorry. Let's see here. Larry, if you hold the glasses to the camera, can we see the projection of the lens or something like that with actually trying them on? The answer is you can see a bunch of light, but you actually can't see the display, because we've engineered it for the human eye. So the image goes to the back of the retina, and so basically the distance between the camera and our display basically means that the image is not going to be in focus for a camera. It only works for your eye. Again, it seems a little weird, maybe some would say shady to say that, but again, it's eyewear. If I put a pair of glasses in front of a camera, everything's going to look all distorted or out of focus. It's the same thing. It's an optical limitation right now. We are not really working on it, but we do have plans for the future to basically have something that we could sort of have in a pop-up shop, so you actually don't have to put the glasses on to see this visual effect. But it's really cool stuff, and again, it's just a limitation here. Let's see here. Roger says, how heavy are they? Who helped make the current prototype? No one's asked this question, Roger, so let's get into this. So how heavy are they? This eyewear is about 24 to 27-ish grams. That's how much it weighs. To put this into perspective, a pair of Warby Parkers weighs about 28, 29 grams, so it's about the same. It's not going to be too particularly heavy. A detail I do want to point out is even though they are, again, just as heavy as normal eyewear, hint, because they are normal eyewear, we've also added in these little nose pads. So we have air-filled nose pads. In terms of prototyping, who helped us with the prototypes? It's literally been us in partnership with about 7 or 8 other companies. So there's 2 eyewear companies. One of them we're not going to name, but the other one is called Somo Optical. They're based out of Korea, and they make a lot of lenses, and they use a material from a Japanese company called Mitsui in their lenses. And they basically are the industry standard in terms of lens technology and lens processing. No one can really do it better than them in terms of processing. I already mentioned before TTP, the Technology Partnership over in Cambridge, UK. And we also work with a couple of frame manufacturers in Italy for the frame design and the frame integration. In terms of the circuit board I was talking about earlier, it's from someone that not one of my CTOs, but it's from someone that my CTO worked with who lives in Orange County. So the team is pretty spread out all apart here. So let's see here. Lee, is it waterproof in case it falls in a puddle or just water? We're saying that these are water resistant. We don't actually have the IP rating, which is just the sort of international standards called like IP67 or IP33. We don't have the rating yet because we haven't tested them yet. But the goal is basically for them to be something that if you were in the rain, or if you were to sweat, like you're wearing these while exercising or doing yard work, that will be fine. This is not a device that we recommend you swimming with, or like Rob Scoble did with Google Glass. We don't recommend you taking a shower with these sorts of things. And we also don't recommend you washing them under a faucet. Just use the lens spray. Could we do something that's waterproof, that's maybe a bit more purpose-built, like goggles for like swimmers or goggles for divers? Absolutely we could, but the focus right now is just on the consumer market with more normal things there. So let's see here. Yes, Dan, I knew someone was going to ring the doorbell. Yes, Dan, basically we will do that. It's just one of those things that we meant to do to the page. Sorry, Dan, it has, we're listing ranges for the frame sizes instead of the specific size for each one. It's just something that we haven't gotten around to yet because we've been focused on a lot of other issues. Hold on just a second. I don't know who this is bothering me. Let's see. Yeah. Quarter. Yeah. All right. And that right there is why you put a sign on the door saying that you're recording. But yeah, James, yes, definitely the police. Let's see here, Brian. Let's see here. What is the new base OS since you're moving away from Linux, and when will the developer channel be available? Basically, we're doing our own thing is the best way to put it. It's not based on Linux anymore because we were taking a look at it, and whenever Linus Torvalds wants to change something, it could cause a lot of problems for you, which then means we're going to have to take time away from adding new features to fixing a lot of things at a lower level. So it's our own proprietary system, I guess is the best way I can say it. We're calling it Ghost, the Ghost operating system for now, and we'll have more details on it later. I am working on a software developer update for people that are subscribed to that. We haven't really been posting a lot because we've been more so focusing on the manufacturing aspect, but now we're shifting towards the software aspect. Let's see here, again with these ship dates, guys, you really just need to go to our website. I know it's so hard to just type in LaForgeOptical.com, but if you just go there and click pre-order, it tells you when you're going to get them. So let's see here. I'm trying to see if I missed any other comments. So again, if I didn't answer your question, I'm not literally ignoring it. It's just because they're, for me on my screen at least, they're coming up pretty fast. So in terms of, again, other places where we're going, since what we're doing now is really to prepare for, is really in preparation of mastering how we make these lenses. The next step for us, of course, is going to be to increase that field of vision. And we do want the experience to be more immersive, but that is something that's in Gen 2. It's something that, let's say, is, once we get there, is really, really cool. I can't describe it in too much detail, but it's basically what we're doing right now, but on steroids in a lot of ways. But before we go into something that is extremely, ridiculously complex, that would require us about $10 million just to get to the market, we have to focus on something that would require us basically $3 million to get to the market that is simple, because this other device, we're going to have to make a custom chip for that, custom lenses, and there's also just some things at the lowest level of development that we're going to have to just make some brand new drivers for, because the way that the pixel mapping is going to be a little different for that too. So we really want to not have to do that. So let's see here, possibly a video chat with the glasses where you can at least see the caller. That is something that I do, it would be capable, but I don't think the user experience and what we're offering right now in Shima would be the best. Again, that's more of a Gen 2 step for us. For right now, just seeing the caller's name and a picture of them and being able to hear them through an aux jack is what we're going for, because I mean, even though it seems really simple and may not be super cool to everybody, you have to consider right now there's no device that does that. There's no device that looks good, that allows you to take phone calls and see the person's display and talk to them, by the way, in a hands-free sort of method, again, that you can wear on your face. So let's see here. Tiffany says, will vision insurance for prescription ones be dependent on you guys or individual insurance companies, and are you hoping to get them covered? It is dependent on the insurance companies. When you say insurance companies, I'm right now specifically talking about eye insurance companies. With them, we just have to submit them a couple pages and have a few meetings. We've got those pages prepared. We just are waiting to get those meetings scheduled to see. You have to understand that even though what we're doing in terms of high technology, releasing things in alpha and beta where things change a lot is normal. For the eyewear industry, they have no clue. They've never had a product that literally you buy it one day and then it has more features the next day. So it might take a lot of convincing. It might take a little bit of convincing to get some of them there. I mean, people have HSA plans where we would have to talk to people like Kaiser and Aetna and all these other companies too. So it's going to be something that, again, eventually, highly unlikely this year, more likely next year, because there's a lack of familiarity with it, and then there's also just I wouldn't say there's a legal constraint, but a lot of these things are based on certain contractual obligations as well. There's also the issue of we're talking about releasing at the end of this year, and if we just go over by 1 or 2 weeks from where I want to release is where I think we can, we're suddenly in 2017. So now you have a 2016 benefit, but you didn't get it till 2017. How does that work? That sort of thing. So trust me, we're definitely looking to it. So thank you, ZK, for answering Larry's question. You get to keep them, which, by the way, you are ordering 2 prescription eyewear. Even if you have no prescription, your prescription 0, and we do adjust them for your eye distance because everyone's eyes are not the same distance apart. It doesn't mean give one to your wife or give one to your friend, because again, you wouldn't typically give your prescription glasses to someone else because they're not going to be able to see well with them. And even with glasses that have, at least the way we make the ones with no prescription, there's a slight curve in them. Glasses with no prescription, when they're made the way we make the eyewear, will make you sick if they're not particularly made for you. Are we hiring? We are, but we haven't posted the job descriptions yet. I need some more time. Again, we're very much short-staffed here on the American side of the company. This is like a worldwide development thing. I'm just the guy with the ideas and runs it, and honestly takes the most beatings from people online and investors to get you guys this product. But we are going to be doing some more hiring on the American side, particularly in software development, a couple part-time design positions as well, but primarily software development is what this is going to be. We really want to be able to quickly respond to any issues that show up online. If anyone remembers when the video first came out, we had some issues with our ordering system because we changed something to make it simpler, and it actually put people in infinite loop. It says, give us a closer look at the glasses I'm wearing. Well, we can give you a closer look at several of the other ones. Give me just a second here. So I'm wearing the Mr. DJ. These here these are the Heartbreakers here. So again, I'm not going to really go over a lot of the information, but just a high-level overview. The display is here within this lens. So not the display, rather. The display is actually over here, and this is a curved mirror that you can use to look at that display. So it's very much like a periscope, and we put it in the perfect position for eye comfort. Well, not perfect, near perfect, as modern day manufacturing allows. So again, we're coming up on 10 more minutes. It says here, do you have a Canadian branch? No, but we do ship worldwide. James Cohagen, I apologize if I just botched your last name. Let's say in a decade or two, when the tech exists, will you be able to make contact lenses? Here's the issue with contact lenses that people don't quite get. Nothing against you for this question, but it's something that people have to know about this contact lens thing. There are a lot of articles about Samsung, Microsoft, Google making smart contact lenses. When they say smart, it's a contact lens that literally does one or two things. None of them really involve conveying data to a person's like field of vision. So it's really things that are simple, relatively simple to measure, like pressure, like blood pressure, eye pressure, salinity, glucose levels to diagnose other things. When it comes to putting a display into a contact lens, the limiting factor is going to be how small can you make that, how small you can make that display. So to put in perspective, right now I am holding the world's smallest LCD, and again I'll put my hands behind it for the purpose of contrast, the world's smallest LCD display. This is it. It's 0.2 inches diagonal, again once you take that bezel off, but that's the world's smallest. In order to get that into something like a contact lens, you're talking about a display that would have to be, we'll be generous and say it's a hard contact lens, not a soft contact lens. You're dealing with something that has to be 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters thin and be able to convey data directly to the eye. And then there's also the complication of the fact that those things rotate. The lenses kind of rotate over time in your eye, so you would actually have to maybe have several displays or some sort of optical system to make sure that no matter how the contact lens is oriented, that you can see it. And then you have the issue of, can I fit a driver in there? And then can I fit a battery in there? And then you have the additional penalty of you have to go through 7 years of FDA testing. So I can tell you right now, I know that no one is currently working on anything, and no one has currently gotten anything to the FDA level that involves a screen of a high pixel density. And I know this because our chairman is on, the chairman of LaForge is a guy named by the name of Rudy Mizuki, and he is the CEO of a company called Alenza. So they make a electric contact lens that would be injected into your eye if you have a detached retina. Sounds gross, but if you can't see, these things can actually really make you see pretty well if you have that particular condition. So theirs automatically focuses no matter what you're looking at, and you charge it by wearing this really cool face mask. And I'm just telling you, the contact lens is a cool idea, but I don't even think it's 20 years away. I think it's more than 20 years away, because if someone had the answer 10 years from now, and again, no one has it right now, if someone had it 10 years from now, which I think is still not possible, they have to do another 7 years of FDA testing. So whatever time you think it's going to be ready, like if you hear an article about it, just consider that it's probably talking about 1 or 2 features, and what you really want is 20, 30 years away, unfortunately. So again, that was a really good question. Let's see here. Let's see. Roger is asking, is that small LCD display what you use at LaForge? Yes, it is, actually. The one I was just holding. So yeah, so this is the one that'll be in alpha, and we discovered a way to actually shrink the package. So the display, I'm not sure, sorry, what I'm looking at on my side's got like a 5-second delay on it, but I'll try to get it really close and put my hand behind it so I can get some contrast. There we go. Sorry, the lighting's really bad. So let me back it up here, even though it's harder for you guys to see. But anyway, in the middle of this is a little display, and it's got 0.2 inch diagonal. But the package actually makes it more like closer to a 1/2 inch diagonal, which is why, because some people ask, hey, why don't you just get rid of these things here on the side? This is actually where the display lives here, and as you can look here, it takes up a fair amount of space in there. So we figured out a way to shrink this package down, but again, what I was just holding in my hand, that is actually the world's smallest display. Let's see here. The release date, it's on the website. Again, alphas are towards the end of the year, and betas are 2017. We say betas 2017. It's vague because we can't make the, well, we could. We won't make the beta until we get feedback from the alpha on what needs to change. We don't have a crystal ball into what people want, but we're doing our absolute best, given the investment climate and the state of technology, to get things out to people as soon as possible. I sometimes, based on some of the questions I get in my inbox, sometimes I think people don't think that I want to sell these. We want to sell them, but we're going to sell them to you in a way such to ensure that your first impression is something that you would tell someone about and it be positive, as opposed to like, oh, I don't want these, I'm going to give them back to LaForge, I want my money back, and by the way, these guys are horrible. So I'm very methodical. Our team is very methodical about this sort of thing. We're not going for a sort of crash and burn approach where we're just like, okay, wow, we just sold X number, or wow, we can make 10,000 and we're gonna make 10,000, and then cram it down the market's throat, and then we have API issues. The developer community is not happy with us because we promised all these things, all the tools aren't there. So what we're doing now is we're basically holding back on certain details. Again, the details we're not holding back on are what it does and how it works. That's what Magic Leap does. What we do at LaForge is we prove to you it works. We show you that it works. We let other people, select people in the press try it on. They let you know it works. And you just have to, unfortunately, be patient. But I'm going to let everybody know, nobody wants these things done more than I do. Let's see here. So would you consider these to be called smart glasses? No, we call these digital eyewear. Smart glasses are those ugly things that everybody else makes. This is eyewear, so you can put your prescription and it's going to make you look good. Did we patent this tech and concept? Absolutely. We're probably about, internationally, we're probably about, 10, 15 patents deep right now with this sort of stuff. But yeah, we had to because there's a couple cases where we got right in front of some people who were, some bigger companies that you would definitely know their name. We beat a lot of people to this technology because we were very aggressive on getting the patents, pushing the patents before anything else, developing the lens technology, getting some of the highest quality development partners that we could get. So yeah, we're definitely going to protect this thing. It's one of those things where we're going to be here for the long haul. We've already spent $2 million to get it to where it is today. And before the year is out, we're probably going to spend another $500,000 to support getting it to the market. And again, has nothing to do with advertisements. We're not going to do any advertisements like we still have not done yet. This is just, again, just hardcore development, software development that we're going to be doing for the rest of the year. Has Google contacted us in regards to these glasses? This is from Karina. They actually have. In the early days of LaForge, when I was in Boston looking for financing, Google Ventures actually invited me to pitch them 3 times, and as soon as I got off the train in Kendall Square, I would get an email saying that it was canceled. So they've contacted me, and they've stood me up every single time that they've reached out for a meeting. Is it possible to invest in the company? It is not unless you're an accredited investor. An accredited investor is someone that has, I believe, either $1 million or $2 million in assets, or they make over $250,000 a year. That's just the way it is. I do know about the, what is it? Oh God, I forget the name of the law, but there is one about crowdfunding, but I don't subscribe to it because there's been no opinion on that. So we don't support this even under the guise of crowd investing via a crowdfunding mechanism. Let's see here. Can you use the glasses to do any available action? This is Arun? Oh, that Arun too. Okay, cool, Arun. You should just give me a call, by the way, but not now. But like, I'd like to see how it looks using the controls on the glasses. I don't exactly understand the question, so if you could just help me by like reposting it. But basically, what I'll do, what I think you're saying is, what are the controls? So basically, what we're having here is that on each side we've integrated touch sensors into these. So there's touchpads integrated into the sides of the frames, and on each side there are 3 buttons, 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom. So basically, you would use the thing on the side to basically scroll through the UI, and then the buttons on the top, basically on this side, the front button, if you're wearing the Beta Bold version, will immediately take a picture The back button literally just takes you back, and then the other button is a home screen button. And then over here is volume up and volume down. And then on the bottom, we actually haven't decided what this other button is, but it's okay because if you're left-handed, you can mirror the controls. So that's basically what it is. So it doesn't matter if you're left or right-handed. If you're left-handed or really like to use your left hand, you can just reverse the controls and things like that. Can we pre-order the Beta Bold? If you pre-order the Alpha, you get the Beta Bold for free. If you don't want the Alpha, well, then you have to wait for us to sell out the Alphas and buy the Beta Bold for even more money. So, for the beta version, is there any plans for OCR? I'm not sure what OCR is, I apologize. So if you could just help me with that 3-letter acronym. No problem, Arun. Let's see here. If I'm playing Pandora or whatever on my phone, can I hear it through the glasses? You can. Again, our glasses or our eyewear is a Bluetooth accessory with an aux jack, and we are going to support Bluetooth audio streaming for this. Again, you can also upload music directly to the eyewear if you want. I know a lot of people don't do that these days. I'm like one of the few people that still buys music and holds on to it, but you can do it that way. Is the API available? It will be. Okay, object character recognition. We will be working on some API tools for that. We might have to license them, but I wouldn't expect it from us initially. There are a lot of other companies that really dominate that, and we, just being upfront with you, we are not that company. We are a hardware company that focuses on making developer tools. That is a cool developer tool, but that one we would much rather partner with someone for character recognition. So let's say if you're in a foreign country and you don't know the language, or you're at an Italian restaurant, you're like, what the hell is this? We would work with them on that. So that's a very, very good question. Very good question. Let's see here. I am 1 minute over. So what I'm going to do at this point is basically thank everyone for their time. Again, we're going to do this again next month, I promise. Again, sorry for all the noise distractions we had here, from the guy from DHL who would not stop ringing the doorbell to the guy outside whacking the weeds. I'm going to need to make some phone calls to figure out what everyone's schedule is next time, so we don't have those things going on. But again, everyone, thanks for your support. Thanks for your patience. I hope that I answered most of your questions. I'm going to figure out how to post this on YouTube, and of course this will be recorded in perpetuity and on Facebook. So again, thank you guys for your time. Thanks for your support, and have a good afternoon.